Hello fishing friends, this is Matthew with Fishing 13 bringing you another Zebco reel service and repair video. Today, by request, I have here a Zebco 33 micro trigger spin. This is the latest model. It's a 2021 model and a super neat little reel. I can bring these videos to you because I'm earning a little bit of money on YouTube. And it's only because of my patrons that are coming and watching my videos I'm able to make a little bit of revenue. It's not very much, but it's enough that I can actually purchase some fishing gear by request, like a Zebco 33 micro, and without digging deep into my pockets, and bring you a service video. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and like and subscribe. By doing that, it shows other people that this is a great video to watch and I can make more revenue or keep making revenue and bringing you all these neat reel service videos. So make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get started on this reel now. This is Zebco's newest little trigger spin. They don't actually make the regular 33 size trigger spin anymore. It's the 33 micro, and perhaps that's because this tends to be one of the most popular trigger spin models. So Zebco advertises this as a trigger release for smooth and easy casting. It has all metal gears. It has a ball bearing system. It has a patented no tangle design. And that's what Zebco is always they always advertised on. It has a built-in bite alert, and it has a quick set anti-release. So this little reel has, right here, you can see this right here, but it has, it can hold 90 yards of 4-pound test, and it has a 4.3 to 1 gear ratio. So it's pretty fast. So let's get started on this. What we're going to do with this is I'm going to just take it apart. We're going to service it, and I'm going to show you how to do all that, how to take it apart and put it all back together. In another video, I'm going to super tune it by adding some ball bearings to make it actually a better system, because it is a ball bearing system, which means it has just one ball bearing. But we're going to modify it so it has at least 3, which is the better system. Okay, like any of my videos I do for reel repair, you're just going to need a few tools. You're going to need a screwdriver. You're going to need a pair of needle nose pliers. You might need a big screwdriver. You're going to need some reel oil. And for the last couple seasons, I've been using Lucas oil products. It's fishing reel oil. And I've been using this blue pin reel grease, which I really like. And like any of the service videos, we need to get started. We're going to take off the front spinning cone and take apart that system. So give it a little twist to the left. You may need to caulk it to get it past those pins. This one comes with 2 pickup pins. Hold the handle and turn the spinner cone to the left to screw it off. Okay. Now one of the things I'm seeing in here is I'm not seeing any lubrication in here, which is disappointing because I feel like this always needs some lubrication in here. All right, to take the spool off, we just need a little screwdriver, and we insert it right here and give it a little twist. Also make sure that the drag is all the way loose, which it is, and we just need to take this clip off. And then there's a washer here and a drag washer. These are lubricated, but not very much. They don't need a lot, but I can see that it wasn't lubricated very much. Okay, here's my other drag washer. They're exactly the same as on the front and the back. Okay, and then notice here, we've got another stainless steel drag washer. It's flat. Make a note of that. Then we have another one. It's not as shiny, and it's a spring washer. See how it's wavy? That and then we have the drag adjustment gear. Now when you put these back together, you want to put it back together in that position. That's where the drag is set the lowest, and will enable you to put that the spool keeper ring on there. Okay, that's all we're going to take apart there. This little piece right here might fall out on us, which is okay. That's the little drag gear. There we go. So that's all out. And notice I don't hardly see any grease. I don't see any grease on this spool right here. That's so, I mean, when you get a brand new reel like this, it could come from the factory, and the person who installed it might have put plenty of grease on it where it needs to go, but they might not have. So make sure that, you know, if you get a brand new reel, take it apart. Watch my video and learn how to do that, and then service it so that it's going to last longer that first year you use it. Okay, now we're ready to take the handle off, so I'm going to screw out this little handle screw and take out the handle. Okay, and the handle is interchangeable. It could go on either side. Okay, now we need to take the back off. On this one right here, we need to take off this screw right here. So we need a small Phillips screwdriver. And then we could take that back off just like that. When we take it off, right here is the pin that keeps the trigger handle in place. We actually need to remove that if we're going to take the rest of this out. If you're just going to get back here and service the gears, you don't even need to take the front apart. You can just take that one screw out and come in here and grease all of these gears. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and take this pin out. It comes out from one side. So just take and push out that pin right here. Grab it with my pliers. Oh. Need something to poke it out with. Try to poke it out a little bit farther. A little screwdriver. Oh, there it started falling out. There, it just fell out. And then this comes out from the front. Okay, it doesn't go in like that, it goes in like that. Okay, don't lose this little pin. Okay, now that we've got that out, we can take out this main gear right here. To do that, we need to take out this little keeper right here. And then we need to take out a couple of these bushings. We'll take out these bushings right here. Now these plastic bushings can be replaced with a small ball bearing. So I'm going to take this one out right here. Now generally behind this bushing right here by the handle side, there's a little shim washer. Don't lose that. You need that. That helps adjust this and protect this shim. Okay, to take this center shaft out here, one of the things we're going to talk about here is the anti-reverse. So you can come down here, and right down here is a little Phillips screw, and we're going to take it out. And we're going to take out this clicker system right here. At least I think we are. And we'll take this out right there. The little clicker button, okay? And then this comes right out right here. Now I want to try getting a close-up of this. Let's see if I can get the light on here a little better. All right. This is what always confuses everybody, is this little piece right here. It's the anti-reverse pawl. And it needs to set in there just like that. And when you put it back together, that little finger right here, not this one, but this one right here, needs to set in this little slot right there. So I'm going to take the center shaft out, There's the one ball bearing, and this ball bearing happens to be a 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch by 3/16 wide ball bearing, and it's used in a bunch of different reels, like it's used in the 33. And it's not a sealed ball bearing, it's just an open ball bearing, but it does need to be serviced, and we're going to put a little bit of oil on it. Because it doesn't look like it has much at all. But that's everything, you know. There's this wheel right here that can come out. I would not recommend taking it out because it has a little clicker right there. And if you take it out, that little clicker and spring will spring out and you'll lose it and you won't be too happy. But if you're really careful, take it out. Otherwise, just leave it in there. If you have to take it out to wash it because it's really dirty, be careful. And then be careful on taking that little brass clicker out. It's a 2-piece thing with a little tiny, teeny spring in it. But I don't need to wash it up. But I'm going to lubricate everything as we put it back together. So let's talk about the anti-reverse system, because this confuses everybody. When this is sitting down in here, it sits in there like this. Okay, and when you reel forward, this thing is kind of out of the way. It doesn't go like this, it just sits out of the way. But when you turn it backwards, it will pull it and it'll push it in their way. When you want to freewheel it, it kind of locks it in place so it goes this way or this way without this little thing moving. But that's basically the way it goes. So when you put it back together, it can be a little bit tricky. There is grease on this. There wasn't very much. This is all the grease was on there. It was all squished off, and it's not very tacky grease, but it's okay. So we're going to go ahead and put some good grease on this, put it back together in reverse order. So the first thing I want to do is I want to oil up my bearing here. Okay, so I'm going to put just a few drops of my good oil on this bearing. Now this surface right here actually goes through there, and there's the plastic housing also acts as a bearing surface or a bushing. So I want to make sure I put a little bit of oil on here. Okay, and then I'm going to put it back together. I'm not going to grease up this right now. I'm going to grease it up when I grease that. So drop this back in there. Okay. Next, I want to go ahead and put the anti-reverse pawl in there and this main gear. To do this, I'm going to use a little bit of grease. On my anti-reverse pawl so it sticks in place. So using my brush, I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on this side and this side, just like that. Then I want to just get it down in this groove here. See that? Just like that. That's the way we want it. Okay, the next thing that we want to do, I'm going to get my anti-reverse switch put in first. Get this little screw. And make sure the switch is easy to move. We want to make sure that that little arm right there goes down in the notch on the AR pawl. So there we go, just like that. Okay, and then we can put this bushing back in. Now I want to grease these bushings just a little tiny bit, just with a little tiny bit of grease like that. And I want to make sure that this goes on there with it. That's that little shim washer. And you can use the handle or the handle screw, put it and seat it all the way in there. Okay, just like that. Then I can put this little keeper back in there and do the other side. Just like that. Okay, let's grease the other one. Use the handle screw to seat it down in there, and that's all it takes. Together, basically, I can go ahead and grease this. And what I want to do is I just want to take my brush and put a very light coating of my grease on this gear here. Doesn't have to be very much, because what spins off isn't going to get back on there again. And that's all. Okay, and there's nothing else here really to oil or lubricate. Okay, next we want to put this on here and put the pin back in. Now if you want, it wouldn't hurt to put a drop of oil on that pin. Let it soak in there. And also put a little bit of grease right here on this, so that as it pushes up against here, it's not wearing out. Okay, I'm ready to put this back on. It's really simple. Just put that and kind of tuck it up in there. Okay, before I put the front on, I'm going to make sure my anti-reverse works. So I'm just going to put this on there. Okay, works great. Okay, that works good too. The clicker works great. Okay. Okay, we're going to put this all back together. Now, I want to put a little bit of grease on here. Okay, that's what this drag washer goes against. And it had no grease on there. Oh, I need to put this back in. This is the little drag washer or the drag adjustment gear. I want to put a little bit of grease on it, because these are not made out of stainless and they could potentially corrode. So I want to put some grease on it, put it back in this hole, and work it in there till it sits flush just like that. Okay. Just like that. Okay, and I can put this back in there. Remember, I want it in that position right there, because that's the lowest setting. Okay, I can put this back on there, and then I'm going to put a little bit of grease on it. Not very much, just a very light coating. Then I want to make sure I have grease on this main shaft for the spool shaft. This one didn't have any on there. Okay, the next thing that goes on is this little keyed drag washer. It has a key on there, see that? So that goes on there. And then on one of these plastic drag washers. And then my spool. I don't need to do anything with. What I need to do at this point though is I do need to take and put a little bit of grease on that drag washer like that. And put that on. I want to put a little bit of grease on here. That's enough. And then this drag washer here, it already has some grease on it, so I'm not going to put another layer of grease, but if yours was all cleaned off, put a little bit of grease on there, and then put that on. And then this goes on just one way, just like this. Use a screwdriver to finish putting it on, just like that. And I want to make sure that this right here is greased. So put some grease on the tip of that main shaft. And down here, I'm going to put some grease on these little cams right here. Doesn't require a lot, just a little bit. But this one was totally dry. And I like to put a little bit of oil on these little hinge pins right there, okay? Then we can put this back on. Tighten it up. I'm going to keep the handle on the left. I want to test out the drag. Okay, that's working really well. Good. That sounds good. Feels good. And put this back on here. Now 4-pound test is pretty light line. If you wanted to put 6 on here, you could probably put 6 and that'd be okay. Go ahead and caulk it in order to get those pins out of the way. The hole goes towards the bottom. And put it back together, lock it in place, and you're good to go. But there you go. Let me know if you have any questions. Please make comments below. Anyways, thanks. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel by pushing on the button over there. And have a great day the next time you go fishing out on the water. Bye.